Okay, fantastic. So it's your famous, your favorite bitch, back again, gangsta girly bitch. It's Tuesday, but this is like a timeless message. I'm feeling this as a nudge for like spiritual education. So this is like, gotta have to, because I gotta set up my whole day. Something nudged me to take a bath today. I haven't taken like a spiritual bath, any type of bath, like haven't been able to sit in water for quite some time. And something led me to really just like sit and commune with like my higher self, commune with just like my guides, commune with God, and just think about like the direction that things are like heading, what I want to do. And I've always seen myself as being like, I'm an educator, I'm a teacher. So it's just like, what is spiritual education? And spiritual education is literally like talking about what's on your spirit, what's on your soul, letting it have breath in, the atmosphere, letting it have breath in the universe, talking through it and being able to overcome it if it's shadow work, or if it's just like being aware of what your spirit needs. Like that's what I think of spiritual education as. So I want to kind of like frame that as the purpose for this video. And I'm just going to be being real. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be talking from myself, from my higher self, and allowing that guidance to come in on today. And I set the intention before I hopped on here and started recording, that whatever information kind of like arises, like this would be good for my own personal development. And also if this resonates for somebody, being able to, know that it is of benefit to somebody out there today. But as you can see, I'm using it's Opalite. I believe it's Soulux, SOULUXE.com. Shout out to you, because that's where I got this from. I believe that Opalite is really good for like, facilitating connection, facilitating calmness. So I want to set that energy, over myself before I begin. And I feel like this is kind of like asking our spirits, what do we need to hear or what do we need to know right now? And then being able to unwind through something. So I hope that whatever comes out from this discussion, this talk back with myself, with you all, whoever is watching this, is of benefit in some sort of way. Please let me know what you think about it, if something resonates or what have you. But I am going to slow it down. And I want to go ahead and call my higher self into the room. And they're saying to just like speak through what's happening. So a lot of the time, like I see a target. So it's just like, I'm always wanting to get right to the message. And I'm always wanting to just like jump into things. And I know like what works to like center and really just like find that flow of my higher self kind of like guiding. So if you struggle with connecting with your higher self, you've been wondering how to do that. It's about knowing that the message will get there in the timing that it's supposed to. We're in a society where there are so many people that want our attention. There's so many like external factors that are trying to like distract us from what we should be focused on and what genuinely is a message or what genuinely is something that needs to be said. And we allow external forces to like redirect us. And, our higher selves are asking us to give them time to like call them in. Knowing that person, that energy, like that mentality of you, like in your better version of operation, in your clearer sense of mind, letting that person lead. So we're going to use the Supra deck. So this is the book for the Supra deck, The Hidden Path of the Oracle. I haven't used this deck in quite some time. It's very like high mind, I like to think. But it uses Jungian psychology. So I think of this as just like the idea that, God is everywhere and God is like on this earth, like physically, and we are all extensions of God. And this allows us to really just like we're going to look at what part of our spirit needs to be massaged today. How do we massage? When I think of the word massage, this sense of like relaxation, this sense of peace, this sense of just like calmness and being able to like let your hair down, let your burdens down and talk through something. How do we need to massage our spirit on today? Asking for whatever benevolent ancestors, whatever guides are in the room, and asking for a direct connection with my higher self on today to allow to guide. not it. That's not it. That's it. Okay. All right. The Sincerity card comes out. And it comes out in reverse. Immediate thoughts are just like, where are we not being sincere in our feelings? Where are we not being sincere in like what's going on? What's been pulling us back? And talking about that with somebody, a trusted companion, a trusted community. So the first thing that comes to mind is I've been dealing with like a lot of like my own mental health issues, or just like really trying to like reclaim clarity around what is going on with me like internally. Like, you know how sometimes when you are in a space where it's just like, you know something is wrong, you know you feel something is off, but you can't necessarily put words to it all the way to be able to like make sense of like what's going on. So I know I've spoken in some of my videos in the past around just like me feeling like when I'm talking or when I'm just like trying to like express myself, a lot of the times I like lose words or feel like, you know, there's some sort of brain fog and I'm not able to grasp onto the language that allows me to express myself in a way that I feel like I come across as intelligent. Like I may use some of the same repeated words or some of the same repeated phrases because that's like what's locked in. And a lot of times I feel a sense of like this is a moment where I'm trying to like process my thoughts. It's like I feel a sense of, you know, like something is not connected there. Like I feel like you were more smart as a whip, you know, when you were younger. But then I also have to keep in mind that, you know, I didn't have a lot of like these same mental health symptoms when I was younger. I was still finding out about them. So being diagnosed with, you know, anxiety, depression, like clinically being depressed, being diagnosed with like post-traumatic stress disorder. And I was just like, I thought PTSD was something that people only get, you know, when they go to like the military and stuff. So for me to just like have that realization that is something that I'm dealing with and like I'm in the midst of has been like, you know, a situation I've had to like figure out over the last couple of years and how to maneuver it. And then my own journey with like medication and, you know, not being on the right medication, or sometimes the medication like making me spiral out of control, and having like a background with what's it called? With like substance abuse. And that kind of like opening up this door, and my stomach just said, like, it's really sad. It just opened up this door for me to like not be as grounded as I wanted to be. So of course, taking medication or just like being in the space where it's like I know that something has to be like done in order for my mental health to be good, and kind of like taking some time off for the last like year or so, not taking those meds, doing, you know, the natural thing, talking with people, trying to like get back into therapy. Just ended up getting back into therapy as of this week, and really wanted to just like uncollapse some of these doors. But I am working on trying to figure out if I have bipolar disorder. And this is actually really like, this is really vulnerable because this is like a new revelation that I've had. And I mean, to be very sincere and to be very honest, I get these moments where it's like I'm on a high, and then sometimes I'm on a low, and then sometimes I'm on a high. And like I've been talking to like a couple of like my friends and trusted companions around just like them noticing me and them taking me in, and I'm never really stable. It's always like it's been up, it's been down, and that has been like a constant theme of my life. There's highs, there's lows, and just trying to find like middle ground, especially when it comes to just like my mood, is something I've been struggling with and trying to figure out why it feels that way, and why sometimes I like naturally self-sabotage or still ruminate with thoughts that I know better. Like doing this type of work, in one aspect of my brain, it'll be like, bitch, people are reaching out. They're saying that you help them uncover this. You heal this with them. You heal this with yourself. Like you're seeing that there's change that's actually happening for the better, the things that you prayed for, the things that you've desired. But then the other hand is just like, yeah, but like your family doesn't really get what you do. You know, they may be judging. Like you don't know all the things like all of these other like spiritualists or other healers may. You know, you're not a hoodoo master, like any of those types of things. And it's just like, yeah, but you don't have to be all of that. Like you just need to be who you are and be sincere. And that is what I've been working on figuring out a lot around like my own version of like sincerity. Like sometimes getting caught up in my mind, like, oh, I'm telling people how much I appreciate them, like reaching out to me because it's true. Like, but then in my mind thinking like, oh, like if I'm saying I appreciate them, like, do they really know that I mean it? Like, and really getting caught into that cycle. And I think that that is something bigger than just, you know, me getting caught up in my shadow side. So I'm working on trying to figure out uh what's going on, and like working with a professional to like get that assistance. And grateful, have to shout gratitude out to the universe, to God, to the angels, to the ancestors, to those that walk with me, to my higher self, for having the finances and giving me the awareness to be able to put the money into this. Because as I think about this, like this time last year, you know, I wasn't able to do stuff like that. Like I did, it's funny because actually I take that back. I did have therapy. Hold on, universe, what's the reminder? Candle for Casey. Oh, okay, I already did that. See, we ahead of the game. So that's a reminder for me because I have to do. This is another sign. Here's your reminder. Basically, because I tend to be so scatterbrained, I have to like remind myself with like reminders when the spirit moves me to just like say it out loud or say it to, you know, one of the recording devices, things that I need to do. I'm so scatterbrained, like I try to like write out lists of things, and sometimes I'm really good with it. Some weeks I'm really not. So like sincerely, I'm just trying to like be honest with people in my life, be honest with you all. Like this is something that I am overcoming, and like me talking about it and me being real about it and me being real about like the things that have triggered all of these feelings to be, you know, arising in me is really important. I feel like this is what I'm meant to do, and just like also allow, I think a lot about you know, I wanted to be able to see somebody that looked like me and dealt with these things and talked about these issues when I was younger. So paying it forward in that way, because somebody out there may come across this, or their friend may contact their other friend, and this could be something that somebody needs. And it's just like, that's the type of person that I want to see myself as and want to continue to, I see myself as and continue to be, just like learning myself and helping us to connect and communicate and learn each other. So the sincerity card, keywords are trust, loyalty, friendship, support, and respect. So how are you calling in your trust, or your trusted friends, your loyal circle, to help you get through some things? Like, who do you need to talk to about some things that have been on your spirit? And it's not like you're unloading on them. Like, this person has always created space for you. This is a time for you to trust that it is the moment to just like release and let go. And then on top of that, like, they kind of, my higher self was just like, this is your version of sharing with like your community, your friends. Because if you're seeing this, that means we're connected in this lifetime for some reason, and meant to learn from each other. Like, it doesn't have to be for everything. It could be, you know, a stop here on the journey. But some of us are tribes, some of us are soul tribes. So it's just like us understanding that like we can be vulnerable, and we can let our hair down with each other. And something just also made me flash in my mind, like that's why it takes me like weeks sometimes to respond to y'all, because I be in a depressive mood, and it becomes overwhelming sometimes like talk to people, and I can really only check in with just like, you know, my best friend, or like my mom, because you know you gotta check in with your mom. So I know that you guys don't like take it personal, but like those are the things that like run in my head. An honorable expression is one that is sincere. It effortlessly touches the inner core of our beings with its offer to witness and recognize the promise, trust, and love that is inwardly mirrored there. It is the universal emotion used to gather and hold all transient beauty in its enduring, protective grasp. So, spirit, higher self, what is the message that I need to be focusing on here? This idea of the universal emotion of sincerity. People are able to feel that when you are resonating and being sincere. And you're also, if you're watching this, you know when somebody is not being sincere, you know when somebody is talking shit, or somebody has some other things that are going on behind the curtain, behind the surface, that they're struggling to talk about. So how can you allow somebody to be sincere with you? This is the upright version of it. So it's just like, you know, reaching out a hand, and then one hand looks very decrepit. One hand looks kind of just like, like I need this strength from you because you have this strong hand and you are willing to like take me on this journey. So like, how are you sometimes recognizing that you're not weak? It's just like you need a helping hand, and being sincere to call that helping hand into your space on today, like throughout this week, and like being reminded that this is something that you can always go back to. This is why I think of this as like spiritual education. Like, we all have moments where we are falling by the wayside. We all have moments where things are not, you know, stable. But this is a time where you have to know that there is somebody that is strong enough, somebody that is willing enough, somebody that's prepared enough to support you. And that's why I always be trying to let people know how much I am grateful for them. Because one, life is short. You never know when your ass could be taken off of this physical plane. And I also just like think it's very important for people to know and receive their flowers like in the moment. So whenever I'm like, reaching out or like somebody runs through my mind and I'm just like, I'm thinking of you and I want you to know I'm thinking of you. Like I always try to like connect with people because you matter to me. And there's some folks like people probably are just like when I DM folks and I'm like, I may not even follow you, but I do think about you. Like some people just come to me and it's just like, no, I sincerely want to know like how you're doing. And in my mind, I want people to know that like I'm invested. Like I think of the work that I do as like, being a guide and being like a listening ear, because we're all listening ears for each other. And it's just being reminded that this is part of, as long as we are sincere with one another, this is an opportunity for us to be able to create more space and create light within ourselves. I also just heard a noise, so I'm getting a sign that this is where I need to be like wrapping it up. But I want you to think about how you are choosing to be sincere in your truth today. What do you value sincere? What is the value of sincerity in your life? And how can you shedding some light either on your own struggles, or helping shed some light on somebody else's struggles and holding space for them, be the balm for your spirit or for somebody else. We're all working on getting better. I also like shout out to, me trying to get ready to do this work or me in the process of doing this work. Because I feel like this is the season truly where things are meant to shine and I'm ready to like, work through all of the things that I have like going on, like, and be real about it. Cause I mean, what do I have to lose? And this is me. And I'm going to continue to be me because that's all I've ever been, and continue to just be as sincere as I possibly can throughout this journey and continue to know where I'm at fault, and where I'm working on growing and where I am receptive to direction in that way. But I want you to keep this in mind. What does sincerity mean to you? How can you be sincere with your higher self? How does your higher self help guide you through a situation? Can you call them in for a difficult conversation that needs to be had? Because that level of sincerity and that level of truth, right now, whenever you watch this, is going to benefit you in so many different ways. So I hope that you receive something from this. Thank you for holding space for me today. And yeah, have a blessed one.